Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willow Bound Journals, and in this video I am going to share with you lots of different ways that you can use napkins to make beautiful junk journal embellishments. So this was actually a video request from one of my subscribers, and let's show you what I've got here, some pre-made ones, and then we'll do a tutorial on how to make all of them. So we have got napkin tags. And on these ones, I've got some music paper in the background. These are just using manila folder. We'll go through how to make those. There's these handmade envelopes made from either book pages or music paper. Again, I'll show you how to make these with the beautiful napkin on top. You can also use vintage book page in the background here as well. Any type of paper in the background. This one is using a book page, so you can see that the writing is through there very, very faintly. This one is a pocket, so instead of an envelope, we've just got a pocket. Again, I've used a book page for that one. This is another pocket, and depending on the design of napkin that you can get some really lovely designs here. So we've got the ones with the butterfly, so pretty. And then we have these ones, which are bags. So I love sewing these directly onto journal pages, and then you've got a double tuck spot, so one behind and one here. Same with these, like if you sew these directly onto your journal page, you have a tuck spot here and a tuck spot here. You have a tuck spot in the pocket and one behind. So I've got quite a few of the bags here. That's a stunning bag there, and that one too. Just beautiful. Okay, and then my favorite way possibly is just getting an envelope, just your standard small envelope, and gluing on top. And I've got a whole bunch of examples of this one, so this is one of my favorite ways to use them. I like to paperclip them into journals on the journal pages, or I like getting the flap, sticking them on a page so that then you can open it up. But often I use paper clips because I don't want it to be locked into place. If I have a paper clip, then you can obviously take it off and move it around, all that kind of thing. Then this is probably my second favorite way to use napkins, is to use the longer envelope, and I just cut off the flap, so then you can use them as top-loading pocket pages in your journal. So when you open it up, you have a pocket here and a pocket there. Well, you don't even have to open it up. You have a pocket here. And you can definitely decorate the back as well with napkins. You can definitely do that. I don't worry about that because, first of all, you're not going to see it. Second of all, it leaves writing space, and it leaves a space where you can add photos or ephemera, or to create your own journaling space. You can decorate it however you want. If you decorate both sides, it's purely decorative. I like things to have double functions. I like it to be decorative on one side and then usable and practical on the other. So you'll notice, like with my tags as well, I always get questions about my tags, like, do you cover the other side of your tag? You definitely could. I don't like covering the other side because I intentionally leave it blank so I can write on it. You can definitely, do what you like. If you prioritize it looking beautiful on both sides, go for it, but I prioritize writing space, so I want as much writing space in there as well, but I still want the beauty. So I've got a lot of these large, longer napkin envelopes because they double as pages for me, and my favorite supply for making journals is pages. So here is another idea for using napkins, straight pages. So I've used cream paper for this. Again, you could double-side it for sure. You could put another napkin on the back, but I want to use this as writing space. I want something pretty on the front, and then have all this blank space to add all of my writing or stick on my photos or whatever. So I've prepared this one for a Christmas journal that I'm planning to make. This one could be for like a bright, colorful journal, maybe one of my more eclectic ones, or a children's themed journal. This one for maybe more of a botanical, nature themed journal. So those are just some ways you can use them. And now let's make them. Okay. I have got my supplies here. I get questions right off the bat. Let's answer this one. What glue do I use? Boss stick, glue stick. I get so many questions about how do you glue them? What glue is it? Don't the napkins rip? How do you do it? So let's go through all of that together here. I'm just going to lay this in the background so that I have something to stick on, and I will grab a few napkins here. I love especially floral napkins and bird napkins because I make quite a few garden type journals, botanical bird journals. Obviously I love butterflies too. So I just peel off the backing. Sometimes they have 2 or 3 layers. This one seems to only have 1. Let's just do like the simplest one here. I have got one of my envelopes here. Just get them from the post office or stationery shop. And all I do is glue directly onto the envelope. So I don't glue the surface of the napkin. People are like, don't the napkins rip? No, no, no. I'm not gluing the napkin. I am gluing onto the surface of the tag or the bag or whatever it is. And then I flatten it down. Now, you could place it this way. I'll show you. But I'm going to show you that it's easier if you do it from the top. So yes, sometimes you will want to do it this way and see where you're laying it out. Often I'll just place the napkin upside down and then lay out all of the envelopes because it's easier to, I don't know, I find it's easier to place the envelope on the napkin because it's sturdy, rather than try and place the napkin on this because it's like, oh, you know, it's flimsy and flies everywhere and you've got to like pull it here and pull it there. So I tend to, just for ease, do it like this, and then before it dries, quickly turn it around so that I can pull it gently and smooth out the creases. I've made the mistake of only doing it this way and not turning it over and smoothing out the creases, and then at the end, once I've laid out all the napkins, laid out all the envelopes onto the napkin, it will, by the time I've turned it around, it will have dried. And so if I just leave that there and I turn that around, see how it's got all these creases in it? See how that one's smooth? If you like the texture, go for it. But I just want to smooth that out a little bit. Like I like these types of creases. I do like a little bit of texture, but not like too much. But that's personal preference. So go for whatever you like. So I'm just going to do 3 for this example and move on to the next ones. But basically, yeah, I will go ahead and I just lay out all my napkins and put however many onto them and keep doing that for like, I don't know, an hour or so. And then at the end, cut them all up at the very end. So I don't like individually cut them up. I'm just showing you for the sake of this video the process. But normally I'll just keep going, napkin, 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 envelopes on all of the napkins. And then maybe even I'll leave it for a day or leave it a week later before I cut them all out separately. So yeah, I don't do one at a time. I do them in bulk in sort of like a production line and I glue them on all first, and then at another time I will cut them out, and then at another time I will take them to my sewing machine and then I will stitch around the edges. So down here, down here, down here. Obviously I don't want to close the top, but if you do, don't panic. Like, just cut off where you've accidentally stitched it and open up that pocket again. I mean, you do lose the flap, but at least you can salvage the envelope and you still have a pocket. So don't worry, even if you accidentally cut off an edge here, don't freak out and be like, oh, I got to chuck that out now. No, just close it up with your sewing then. You can always fix things. So if you accidentally sew something, just cut it off, turn it back into a pocket. If you accidentally cut it off here, just sew it back up again. So super easy. It's quite therapeutic. Obviously, you don't really have to think too much doing this. It's just a very repetitive process. That's why I like just putting on a podcast and, you know, lose an hour or two making up these napkin envelopes. And it's just therapeutic for me. So yeah, there we go. Beautiful napkin envelopes. All right, let's move on to the long version, which, you know, it's just going to be the same sort of process. I'm going to just apply glue to the whole surface. This is why I like using the blue glue or the purple glue, because I can see where the glue is. At first I was like, oh no, that's weird having coloured glue. Ooh, I don't like that. And then one day they didn't have any of the clear glue and I was like, oh, okay, I'll use the weird looking coloured glue. And then from there I was like, oh, this is so much easier with it being coloured. And then I'm just going to use the same napkin because I've got it here. Oh no, I won't, because it's vertical. So I think I will use this lovely one here. This one would be great for, again, botanical journals, garden journals. All those beautiful florals. This one has multiple layers. So I'm just going to try and peel all these layers off. Oh, I get lots of questions too about where do I actually get my napkins. All right, so a lot of them I actually get gifted in Happy Mails, or I bought a whole bunch through the Beyond Blue fundraiser because people sent in so many napkins, like so many. And because they're quite bulky, they when you put a whole stack together, I put about, you know, up to like 5, sometimes maybe 6 napkins in one pack. But because I'm trying to do a variety of, you know, items in those Beyond Blue mystery packs, I yeah, I was like, what am I going to do with all these napkins? So I just put I basically just purchased a whole mystery pack only of napkins. There were that many. Like, it wasn't that extreme, but there were so many of them. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll take a whole bunch of napkins in a mystery pack. And so I won't have as much variety in my one, but just so that other people could get a whole bunch of variety in theirs. I don't know why I pulled another one off when I already have so much other napkin here. So yeah, that's how I've gotten such a variety. A lot of them, yeah, I've never seen before, and they just come through Happy Mails and people gifting them to me. And if I do buy them, the only places that I've ever got them really are from the local cheap shop, or when you go to other towns, other cheap shops have different ones, you know, dollars and cents, whatever people have, the reject shop and things like that. The party shops have different types of napkins. And napkin swaps. If you're really stuck for napkins, people do napkin swaps. I've seen that in the Junk Journals Down Under Facebook group page. And they will be like, you know, I've only got these type of napkins here. What do you have? Let's do a swap. All right, so I'm just going to wipe off that bit of glue there. Got a bit glue happy there. And then I will just show you, you know, for the sake of going through the entire process in this video, you can jump ahead to whichever tutorial you want. The bags, the tags, the pages, the envelopes made from book pages. I'll get to all of those in this video, don't worry, but I just want to make sure I'm seeing through each process from start to finish in case you need, you know, step-by-step guidance with this. And I am making a complete mess of cutting. This is why I don't usually cut in one go as well, because I want the glue to dry. So I give the glue time to dry before I sit down with them all and cut them. So I just want to smooth out those creases just a little bit more. I mean, other people love creases and they think the grungier the better. So you probably don't have to do that. But me, I do like the creases, I do like the texture, but just not too much. So I tend to smooth those out just a little bit more than maybe other people might. Okay. this is how you do the long envelope. Now, because I know how I'm going to use this, I might even just, you know, trim that off right now. And then take that to my sewing machine and, you know, sew down here, here, here. And let's get on to the next one. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to do the bag ones next. And use up these napkins as we go. So these bags, little tip here, if you're wondering where I get these bags, obviously you can maybe go to Etsy or something and buy them in bulk, you know, those little treat bags. But what I do, the local stationery shop here, you know, when they package your order, they like put it in a little bag, and they have different size bags. They've got little ones, medium ones, big ones for different things. And I just asked them, hey, can I buy a pack of the bags that you use? And they were like, oh, I don't know, we haven't done that before. But they just looked up the price of how much it cost them to purchase them. And then they, oh, I did a terrible job with that one. So you do have to be a bit careful with the napkin. Don't like, but the great thing is napkins are so forgiving and it doesn't even look like it was ripped at all. If you catch it straight away, you can usually, you know, salvage it. And so yeah, I just asked the local stationery shop, hey, you know those bags, can I buy some? They looked up the price of how much it cost them to buy them, and then from there gave me a price, and honestly it was like, I don't know, $2, $4 or something for a pack of 50 or something like that. So I was like, yep, great. And so every now and then I'll go to them and just ask them for another pack of bags, and I like getting the small ones because then I can fit them into journal pages. Now, a little tip here. See, I missed the top. I did miss the top of the thing. Instead of fussing around, taking it off and trying again, I'm just going to cut it. Let's cut it. Done. Here's my bag. The bag usually has that crooked edge there, and it has the little hole where they put a string through it to hang it up. So I just cut that off. I pre-cut that off. So I'm just going to do one more. I mean, I know now it's self-explanatory, but let's try and get it all the way across the bag this time. So yeah, you can go to your post office or any shop where you notice that they have these bags, and you can always just ask them, hey, can I buy a pack of the bags themselves? And, you know, of course they might say no. Keep asking the next place. Or yeah, or just go on Etsy or go to your shops. I live in a small country town, so it's quite hard for me to find, you know, things in person. So that's why I always say just, you know, go to Etsy. Etsy is like my #1 place to buy junk journal supplies. Okay, well, op shops are, but if it's not op shops, it's Etsy. Because I feel like Etsy's just like an online op shop, pretty much. All right, and if you do it wonky like I have here, just, you know, cut it until you have it straight. And done. You could even do an asymmetrical bag if you wanted. Next, let's do tags. Now, I've got some bases here that I've pre-cut. I will show you how I do that. So, I just get manila folder. Again, from the local stationery shop, the same place that I get my those white bags. Same place, just get them from there. Cut it apart, and then I use a store-bought tag. Whoops, not that one. A store-bought tag to make these. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. Let's do this. So we're going to go do. Now I don't actually want it that long. This is how I will show you how I do different sizes. So I'm just going to get the, you know, the gist of the shape of the tag. and I will make them all out from this sheet. Look, usually I would salvage that whole thing, but for the sake of speed, I'm just going to do that. Now, next thing, I'm going to do some smaller ones, and we're just going to do them down here. And yeah, it's just a guide, so I'm obviously going to cut inside of these lines so I don't have the blue. Oh no, actually I don't need to do that, because I can actually just cover it up with the book page. If I know I'm going to cover up one side of the surface with something that's completely, you know, that you're not going to be able to see through, then I don't mind the blue lines. So I'm just going to do that. And I'm just going to get my ruler and, like, I don't know, judge it. Maybe I'll do some larger ones. Hang on, I will actually rule a line here and use that as my guide. Okay, let's cut some of these out. We won't cut the whole thing. And down here. Again, I usually do this in bulk. I'll get like 10 manila folders. I will trace them all out, and then I'll cut them out at the end. And you know, I said I wasn't going to cut them all out. Let's just do 2 of each. So that's how I cut them out. I love using manila folder because it's the right sturdiness for me. It's not too thick, not too thin for a tag that you can write on. So just trimming them down. Oh, I've already got 2 of those. Let's not worry about that. 2 of those. Okay, from here you can do anything with those. I've got many videos on my channel showing all the different ways you can decorate them. Wallpaper, music paper, book page, decorative paper, scrapbook paper. So many ways you can decorate them. Piano paper. I am going to decorate these by grabbing some vintage music paper. Where do I get my vintage music paper? Op shops and vintage shops. So I am actually, what I'm going to do, show you another way I do this. Again, because I tend to do things in bulk, I don't tend to make tags one at a time. So I'm just going to show you when it comes to my music paper, and I'll do some with book page too. I will just get, like, you know, however many tags, because they're all pre-cut, and I will stick them on. So yeah, ordinarily I would do the rest of the page, but again, for the sake of this video, again, I would usually do this whole page, grab another bit of music paper, do that page, keep on going, have like maybe 10 pages done, ready to go. That will give it time for the glue to dry. Then I'll cut them all out later. I will just let the glue dry a bit more, because it's just easier to cut them out when the glue is dry. And then I'll show you with these smaller ones how to do it with a book page. I'm just going to grab this one here, and we will just do the same thing. So glue stick, you go through so much glue, I tell you though. You need backup, like have a lot of backup glue, because if you're going to make a lot of tags and napkin envelopes, your glue is going to, you're just going to go through it. So I should buy it in bulk, but I will just get like 3 at a time. I used to get 2 at a time, but because I make tags and napkin envelopes like a lot, I was like, oh, I need to get 3 at a time now. I see other people that get like packs of 50 at a time or 20 at a time. I'm like, oh, I think I need to start doing that. But I don't have any storage to store that many. I have enough storage for 2, and then I put a spare one up on my shelf but I don't like things being up in that shelf because that shelf is already used for other stuff. But I have a little slot where I can fit two really nicely on my desk, and it's like, oh, that's so cool. So I always have those two, and then spare on my shelf. Another thing, just flip it over if you don't want the creases and things. Like that. And then we've got the smaller tags. And of course you could just leave it like that. Honestly, I just love making tags like this and then either leaving it this way or decorating it with a sticker or collage on top. I do like using book pages that mean something to me. Of course, you can just get any random book from an op shop, but my preference is to get a book that means something to me and use those as pages. Even though no one really is going to notice what book is underneath, I know what book is underneath, and I want to use the pages that mean something to me. So I've used Alice in Wonderland. Other book pages I like using The Secret Garden and Vintage French. So let me have a look what I want to use next. Let's maybe do this one, and I really kind of like this colourful one. Oh, and I do like this one. And because once you put the napkin over the top, depending on the pattern, you can definitely always add more on top of that as well. Stickers, ephemera, collage. But I like, my preference is the napkins that already are so beautiful that you don't want to cover them up. So I like putting music paper with bird journals, just because it's so fun to me to connect that line of thinking where it's like birds sing. They sing, so putting music paper is like the bird song. I don't know, I just like that. Now, what do I want to do? So this is where I actually want to lay it down specifically. And I'm trying to catch that blue butterfly, but it's kind of at an awkward position. It's going to be upside down, isn't it? All right. Because the bird needs to be the star of the show. So this is one of those times where I was fighting sort of with the napkin. I could do it this way. Let me show you this way. Okay, so I can see through the napkin. I can see there is a bird right here. I'm going to catch that. Done. So much simpler. Now I flip it over and smooth it out. All right, let's do these two from the Alice in Wonderland book. I'm going to do it the easier way. That other first way I did it was way too hard. Okay. And then of course I sew around the edges as well. Take these tags to my sewing machine, and that just catches all the edges, you know, just in case they might lift up from the glue. I'm gonna do that one there. I can see that butterfly here, so I'm gonna catch that there. Awesome. Again, usually I do this with a whole bunch of tags, lay them all out on the sheet, grab another napkin, lay them all out, grab another napkin, lay them all out, get like 10 in a row, and then after I've got all 10, then I will cut them up. But for the sake of this video, let's do it right now. But again, yeah, that allows them to dry. And I'm just going to try and salvage the rest of the napkin for other tags and things. Let's just do, I was going to leave this, but I can't bring myself to leave it. I'm a bit of a completionist. Okay, I can't let that one just be by itself. And then trimming around. Okay, and then we have a lovely set of napkin tags. Now, I forgot to mention this at the start of the video. You can also use this exact same method, not just with napkins, but with tissue paper and pattern paper and any material that has this same sort of texture to it. I'll show you. This one I've used pattern paper from those vintage sewing pouches. This one I've used just plain white tissue paper. Same with this. This one's actually vintage pattern paper as well, but just the white type. This one, I don't even know what this is. It's like that. I think it's the Tim Holtz tissue type paper, but it's got a different texture to tissue paper, just slightly different. But same type of thing. It's transparent. This one is the Your Creative Studio packaging. I don't know if you call it. It's like there's different types of tissue paper, I guess, different textures. So I salvaged that packaging, and those ones. That one's. I don't know why. Yeah, it's got the texture type of tissue paper texture, but it's not see-through. This one, again, it doesn't have the exact same tissue paper texture, but it is see-through. But I didn't put anything in the background because I just wanted to see this. This is those white bags. It is actually transparent, but you're just seeing the white of the bag. And I like that. So you don't even need to have a background for some of your tags and things if you don't want. If the pattern is decorative enough for you. But yeah, I like putting something in the background often. So vintage music paper, book pages, anything that you like in the background that you can faintly see underneath. Just adds that dimension. Like, look at that. See, this is why I especially like the music paper one though. Look at those. That's just so cool. I love that. All right, so we'll cut out these two and then we'll get on to the handmade envelopes and pockets. And I'll show you both of those using vintage music paper and book page. My two favorite supplies, really. Book pages and music paper. I'm always at op shops looking for both of those things. Okay. And the glue, yes, can be very annoying. Again, why I often wait until it's all dry so we can avoid all of this fussing around. All right, aren't they gorgeous? I love them. Perfect for bird journals or garden journals. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, next. Let's grab some of that music paper. Okay, just trying to get it off my fingers. I don't like glue on my fingers. Okay, so let's just get rid of that bit. Actually, no, let's not get rid of it. Let's turn this into a pocket. Done. So that's all you do for pockets. Super, super simple. Fold it in half. And then you have a wonderful pocket. Obviously, I'm going to take that to my sewing machine after I add the napkin. Okay, really easy. Let me just show you for this one. I'm going to make some pockets out of this. So if I had the full page, I would fold it where I want it and then find the middle somewhere, cut it. And then that can be an extra long pocket, that can be an extra long pocket. But if I don't want it that long, you know, trim it down to whatever size you want. Just go for it. You can make them as small as you want or as large as you want. Done. Let me get some more music paper here. Okay. Again, if I was to make some pockets, I would fold it up here, cut that off, got my pockets here, cut them in half. But this time I'm going to make some envelopes. So I'm going to fold it here, same as like a pocket, but this time I'm going to grab a flap. And this is why I love using book page and music paper as well, because you just use the text or the notations, the sheet music, to find your line where to cut. And then I just fold the top over to make my flap. And then again, I'm just going to trim off these edges and create my envelopes. Could do a long one, but I'm going to just trim that off a bit there. All right, simple. Let me show you with a book page. Just because it's kind of got like a different orientation, a different dimension. Okay, I'm trying to get ones that don't have a picture on the back because I want to use those for actual, you know, pages and journals. So I'm just going to grab another page and show you one where I make a pocket. Of course, you can make a pocket that big if you want. In fact, let's just do it. We can make pockets as large as we want. So down there, there. So, yeah, giant pocket. Giant pocket. Let's now do the envelope. So I like having it the right way up, the words, but you know, it doesn't matter too much because you're going to cover it up anyway. I'm going to use these lines to show me where it's straight, and then I'm going to fold the top down like this. And you might want the flap to be longer or shorter, totally up to you. Again, I'm using the lines, that line there, to show me where to cut. This is why I don't measure anything. People are always like, how big are your tags and how big are your envelopes? No idea. I just use the page to show me. All right, let's go for a colourful napkin. I think this will work well with the Alice theme actually, because it's like so wacky and psychedelic. The colours will kind of go with that theme idea. So let me grab this again, and we're just going to use the glue stick and same thing. And of course you can make double pockets, triple pockets, all that type of thing as well. Now we're just going to put that on. This time I went from the top. Now I'm just going to cut this off because envelopes are a little bit trickier. I'll show you what I do with envelopes. Okay, so I open it up first. I grab the front of the envelope and I'm just going to glue the front part of it. You can glue the whole thing if you want. Oh, I might show that version as well. Then I match this up. Like, you can match it up exactly if you want, but you can just trim that. Maybe I'll trim it. I'll show you. Okay. So you can match that line exactly if you want, but if you haven't matched it, don't worry. You can just cut it yourself like that. All right, so I'm going to just fold that up again now that that edge is cut. And then I'm just going to cut this off so it's easier to work with. So this envelope is out of all of these, is the most finicky to do because you kind of aren't just clean gluing a surface. You kind of have to maneuver it a bit and glue the right surfaces. All right, that looks so cool. It reminds me of the mushroom too. Then I flip this part over so that I can isolate the flap, and we're just going to glue that. And you might be like, why don't you just glue the whole thing? That would save so much time. You are right, but it doesn't save the napkin. So you can get that as close to that edge as you want. And if you get it spot on, then you don't have to do any cutting. But I'm just going to show you. This is if you don't get it spot on, you just cut it yourself. And then cut it at the edges. Open that flap up and get this edge. Okay, And there we have our envelope. So I'll just sew again, open it up before you sew, down here, down here, down here, so that you don't sew the flap down. All right, now, of course, you can just do it the easiest way. I'll show you with this. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to glue that straight down on the whole thing. Yes, this is easiest, but because the way that I use these envelopes is to often sew them directly onto a page, and I'll show you what I mean in a sec, you're not going to see this back surface, so you just wasted a chunk of napkin that you could have used for something else. So that's my priority is, you know, I'm trying to get as much use out of the napkin. I've just wasted this chunk, which could have been a tag. But totally cool. If this is the way you want to do it, absolutely go for it. There's nothing wrong with covering the entire thing. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just my personal preference of how I want to use it. You might have a different personal preference, and that is wonderful. Do it your way. Crafting is supposed to be fun, and I try to make it as simple and quick and easy as possible for me. So you do what's going to be great for you and the most therapeutic and fun for you. And then we're going to fold that down. So yes, we do have something decorative on the back. And if you were going to just paper clip this in, then maybe you want that. Maybe you do want it decorated on the back. But even if I am paper clipping it in, which I do that often, I still like the idea of it being blank on the back, because look at all that. That's beautiful. I want to see that. Like often I would just have envelopes like this, of course. But let me show you an example. When it comes to this type of thing, I will often not sew it closed until I bring it to my journal page, and before it's bound in, I will sew it directly to the page, so that then we have the tuck spot here and here. But even if I have sewed it, then I'll just either go over it with another stitch, or I'll just glue it to the page. But that if it saves a step, I'll just wait and sew it directly to the page. And that way you don't see the back, so I could save that napkin. But other ways I do it is to paper clip it in here. Then you can take it out, you can look at it, and I would actually prefer to look at this back than that. But that's just me. Totally cool if you want to cover the whole thing. That looks great too. Like that is actually really great, especially if you have a lovely design that you don't want to break up the design or anything. Go for it. Totally go for it. All right. I know I have these other ones, but I actually think I want to keep them. I want to make a whole bunch of pockets and envelopes just using music paper. They're so fantastic. And then I want to decorate them with washi stickers and stuff. Cool. All right. Moving on. I'm aware this video is getting really long, and I've got a bit of a time limit, so I'm trying to get through this as quick as I can because of that time limit. So what I'm going to do now, this page, you can't maybe see it on camera, but it's all rough where it's stuck to my board where I dry my coffee dyed papers. So I am just going to, this side is nice. I'm going to salvage this by covering it up. And I think I want to use some of this Christmas napkin so I can use this page in a Christmas journal that I am planning to make. I don't usually make Christmas journals. It's not a theme I enjoy planning about and thinking about. Like once I've got the supplies, I enjoy making whatever journal. But I can't get that. But because I do have the supplies, enough supplies for a Christmas journal, I am planning to make one, thinking about it, thinking what to do for it. And I had some of these Christmas napkins, so I was like, let's just use those for it too. And I cannot get this My fingers are gluey. I know there's like strategies for how to how to separate them. And I know as well people have like a water brush. And oh, that reminds me of another way to use napkins that I forgot to share in this video. Do I tack it on at the end, or do I save that for a different video? Okay, I am not going to be able to get this. New plan, because I've run out of time. My time limit is up, so I've just got to do this, and I'll save that other video, that other method of how to use napkins in collage in actually journaling pages. This is good though. This is showing how to use it for making journals and embellishment things. The other method is for like your personal journaling, although you could use it to decorate pages and journals too. Okay, so this is the last one I will show you, and then I would sew around the edges as well once I cut down the page to match the size of my journal. And all I'm going to do is stick that on. Now it might have been easier if I flipped the napkin over and stuck the paper on rather than the napkin, but you can make it work. Just, you know, some people are going to leave all of this, the creasing. I'm going to smooth it out a bit more, and then you flip it over. I've stuck it down to the actual page. Now, because I also know I'm not going to be making a journal this big, I could cut directly around the edges, but I'm going to cut some of the paper. So that's just going to help make it go a bit quicker. I'm just going to cut around the paper because I know that my page is going to be smaller than this anyway. And then once I have my journal cover, I will measure how big I need to do it. Once I have that, I will take it to my sewing machine and sew around the edges, which again, you don't have to do all the sewing around the edges if you don't want to. Just make sure you apply your glue really well. I just like the look of the sewing, and it gives me peace of mind knowing that the edges are, you know, sewed. So yeah, that is my page for a botanical journal, maybe a garden journal, a nature journal. That might look good in a nature journal actually, maybe with, you know, maybe some squirrels and some mushrooms. So look at what we just had fun making today. Lots of different things. I hope that was helpful. Oh, I didn't cut out this pocket. So again, because I know I don't need the pocket to be that big, I'm going to cut down that edge. I will keep this edge because this is the folded edge, but if I accidentally cut that off, I could just sew that back together again. And there's that pocket there. I really like that one for the Alice in Wonderland theme. And here's the envelope. So yeah, lots of different ways to use napkins. So don't throw out your napkins, and maybe you want to look at napkins in a new way when you see them out and about. If you have any questions, feel free to chuck them into the comments, and I will show you that other method of using napkins in collage and journaling pages. And you can use that method to decorate pages too. But yeah, this video is very, very long, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.